Sarah trudged along the narrow trail that wound through the towering pines, each step feeling heavier than the last. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the landscape. But all she could think about was her growing fatigue. She was well into her third trimester, and every day seemed to stretch longer than the one before. Today had been especially draining. After a long week of work and countless errands, she had finally decided to take a break at the little cabin her friend Emily had reserved for her. Just the thought of it made her heart flutter with hope. She imagined sinking into a cozy chair by the fire, sipping hot cocoa, and allowing herself to rest. The idea of a peaceful escape felt like a distant dream that was just within reach. As Sarah approached the cabin, she could see its rustic charm peeking through the trees. The wooden structure was small but sturdy, with a welcoming front porch and windows framed by delicate flower boxes. It looked exactly like the photo Emily had sent her, quaint and inviting. But even as anticipation bubbled up inside her, she couldn't shake off the exhaustion that clung to her like a heavy blanket. With a deep breath, Sarah stepped onto the porch. She paused for a moment to take in the serene surroundings. Chirping birds flitting between branches, the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze, and the sweet scent of pine filling the air. Everything felt peaceful, and yet she was too tired to fully appreciate it. Her mind wandered to the growing life inside her and all the changes that awaited her in just a few months. Pushing open the door to the cabin, Sarah felt a rush of warmth envelop her. It was exactly what she needed, a refuge where she could finally let go of her worries for a little while. However, as she crossed the threshold, something unexpected happened. All at once, the lights flickered on with a bright glow, illuminating every corner of the room. Startled, Sarah glanced around in surprise. The cabin had been dark just seconds ago, and now it was filled with light that made it feel alive. A mix of astonishment and curiosity washed over her as she tried to make sense of what she was seeing. "Surprise!" came a cheerful voice from across the room. Sarah turned to find Emily standing there, with an enormous grin on her face, arms raised in excitement. It took a moment for her brain to register what was happening. Emily had set everything up just for her. The room was decorated with soft fairy lights draped across beams and colorful streamers hanging from the ceiling. A welcoming fire crackled softly in the fireplace, casting flickering shadows on the walls. "Emily, you're here," Sarah exclaimed, unable to hide her joy any longer. The weariness of her day melted away in an instant as she rushed towards her friend for a warm embrace. "I couldn't let you spend your weekend alone," Emily said as they hugged tightly. "You've been working so hard, I thought you could use some pampering." The exhaustion that had settled in Sarah's bones seemed to lift slightly at Emily's presence. They stepped away from each other, and Sarah took a moment to drink in the cheerful atmosphere created just for her. It felt like a surprise birthday party, but even better. This was about friendship and support during one of life's most significant transitions. "Look at this place. It's amazing," Sarah said, glancing around at all of Emily's thoughtful touches. "I wanted it to feel like home," Emily replied with pride sparkling in her eyes. "I've stocked up on all your favorite snacks and drinks." Sure enough, when Sarah wandered into the tiny kitchen area, she spotted an array of treats lined up on the table: cookies fresh from the oven, chips with salsa dip, and even some herbal tea brewing near the stove. Her stomach gave a little rumble in response as smells wafted through the air. "Let's get cozy," Emily suggested with an encouraging smile. "I made sure we have everything we need for a girls' weekend." Settling onto plush cushions by the fire together felt like wrapping themselves in warmth, both physically and emotionally. As they began catching up over snacks and laughter, Sarah felt an incredible sense of gratitude wash over her. In that moment, amidst all her tiredness and worries about motherhood that often weighed heavily on her heart, having Emily there made everything feel manageable. So much anticipation lay ahead for Sarah. She knew there would be challenges and sleepless nights once her baby arrived. But right then, as they shared silly stories and enjoyed each other's company under twinkling lights, peace found its way back into her soul again, if only for a little while. As Sarah stepped away from the cabin, she took a moment to breathe in the fresh air that surrounded her. The woods were alive with sounds, birds chirping cheerfully in the trees, leaves rustling gently in the soft breeze, and the distant trickle of a stream nearby. It was as if nature itself was welcoming her into its embrace. Yet, despite this beautiful scenery, Sarah felt a deep contrast within herself. The path leading to the cabin was lined with vibrant wildflowers that danced playfully in the wind, their colors a vivid splash against the earthy tones of the forest. Every step forward revealed more of this serene landscape. Tall pines standing majestically like guardians of the woods, their dark green needles swaying gracefully overhead. The setting sun cast a warm, golden glow that made the whole scene feel magical. But as lovely as everything was, Sarah couldn't shake off the weight of exhaustion pressing down on her. Her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts about her pregnancy. She felt an overwhelming anticipation for the life growing inside her, but also an undercurrent of anxiety. The upcoming changes loomed large, and she could feel the tiredness in her bones. It was as if she were dragging a heavy backpack filled with worries and uncertainties along the trail. Each step toward the cabin felt both like a journey toward solace and a reminder of how much she had been carrying lately. As she approached the cabin, it stood there waiting for her, a small haven amidst towering trees and sprawling ferns. The rustic wooden structure exuded warmth and charm, its walls weathered but strong, clearly filled with stories of laughter and love. A few steps led up to the porch, where inviting rocking chairs sat side by side, beckoning her to sit and relax. The sight brought a small smile to her lips, imagining spending quiet moments there, watching fireflies dance in the twilight. Yet despite this enchanting view, Sarah felt like a boat adrift in turbulent waters. She couldn't help but think about how she often felt overwhelmed, balancing work, planning for the baby, and trying to take care of herself. While the beauty surrounding her was breathtaking, it contrasted sharply with her inner turmoil. She longed for peace, but weariness tugged at her heart. With every step closer to the cabin's door, Sarah took slow breaths to calm herself. The sweet scent of pine mingled with hints of wildflowers, creating a soothing fragrance that filled her senses. She hoped that within these walls, she could find some respite from her racing thoughts. Maybe once inside, all her worries would fade like shadows in the light. Pushing open the door gently, she was enveloped by warmth. The cabin felt cozy and inviting, unlike anything she had experienced lately. But before she could truly appreciate it, the lights flickered on unexpectedly, bathing everything in a glow that made it seem even more alive. "Surprise!" Emily's voice rang out like music, pulling Sarah away from her swirling thoughts. Her friend's presence brought an instant comfort that reignited the spark of joy she had been missing. Suddenly, the burdens of fatigue and worry felt lighter. The cabin transformed into a sanctuary where laughter would fill the air, where friendship would push away shadows of doubt. As they embraced, Sarah realized that this moment marked not just an escape from her daily grind, but also a start of something special. The beautiful scenery outside became a backdrop for moments yet to unfold. Stories shared around the fire, dreams whispered under shimmering stars, and laughter that would chase away any lingering fears. In this peaceful retreat, surrounded by nature's beauty and Emily's unwavering support, Sarah began to feel hope blossom within her heart once more. Maybe here she could rest and recharge, readying herself for the journey ahead with renewed strength and optimism. As Sarah stepped inside the cabin, a wave of relief washed over her like a gentle tide. The cozy warmth enveloped her, wrapping her in a blanket of comfort that she had been craving for weeks. The soft glow of the lights, now illuminating every corner of the room, made the space feel alive and welcoming. She closed her eyes for a moment, allowing herself to breathe in the rustic scents of polished wood, fragrant pine, and freshly baked cookies that lingered in the air. Her heart raced with a mixture of excitement and hope as she took in the inviting atmosphere. She envisioned curling up by the fire in one of those comfy rocking chairs, a steaming mug of hot cocoa cradled in her hands while the world outside faded away. In her mind, she could almost hear the crackling fire and picture the flickering shadows dancing across the walls, creating a sense of safety and warmth. This was what she needed, a sanctuary where she could let go of her worries, even if just for a little while. As she stepped further inside, Sarah's gaze turned to the decor that Emily had lovingly arranged. Colorful throw blankets were draped across the couches, and cheerful cushions added splashes of color that brightened the space. A small table was set with an array of snacks, including her favorite cookies and fruits, treats that spoke to her heart and reminded her of carefree days spent with friends. Each detail reflected Emily's thoughtfulness and care, making Sarah feel cherished. In that moment, all the anxiety that had been swirling in her mind began to dissipate like morning mist lifting under the sun. She felt lighter somehow, as if stepping into this cabin had allowed her to leave behind the burdens that had weighed heavily on her. Thoughts of work deadlines and baby preparations faded away. Here was a place where time seemed to stand still. Her pregnancy journey had been filled with ups and downs, moments of joy paired with unforeseen challenges. The anticipation of bringing new life into the world felt both exhilarating and daunting. But standing in this haven created by Emily's love, Sarah could feel hope blossoming anew within her. Perhaps this weekend would allow her to gather strength for what lay ahead. Glancing back at Emily, who was busy arranging snacks on the table with an enthusiastic flourish, Sarah couldn't help but smile. Her friend radiated positivity, embodying everything Sarah needed right now. Moments spent together would serve as a reminder that she wasn't alone in this journey. They were sisters in spirit, sharing dreams and fears alike. "Can you believe how beautiful it is here?" Sarah said, her voice tinged with warmth as she stepped closer to Emily. "It's perfect." Emily beamed back at her, clearly pleased with how everything had turned out. "I thought you could use some brightness. You deserve it," she replied before returning to her task. Meanwhile, Sarah's mind danced with possibilities for their time together. She imagined long talks late into the night under a canopy of stars, exchanging stories and sharing secrets about motherhood. The cabin had such an inviting energy. It whispered promises of laughter and connection that would help soothe any lingering worries. Taking a moment to immerse herself in this space, Sarah walked over to a window that framed a view of the woods outside. Sunlight filtered through the trees, casting playful shadows on the ground below. It was breathtaking. Nature was alive with colors and sounds. But inside this cabin was where she felt truly at home. "Let's get started," Emily called from behind her, breaking into Sarah's reverie. "I brought supplies for us to decorate." We can turn this place into an even cozier retreat." Sarah turned with newfound enthusiasm at Emily's words. There was something magical about transforming their surroundings together, making memories while creating a special space for relaxation and laughter. With every new idea they exchanged, Sarah felt her spirits lift higher. Together, they began planning activities, crafting decorations for the baby's room, or preparing meals together using fresh ingredients from nearby markets. Each thought filled Sarah with excitement about their time ahead. As she helped Emily arrange colorful streamers around door frames and unpack art supplies for crafting later on, Sarah realized just how much she had been anticipating this weekend getaway. This was not merely an escape. It was an opportunity for growth alongside her friend, nurturing visions for their shared futures while wrapped in warmth and friendship. With every laugh shared between them and each giggle at their messier attempts at decorating, Sarah began to embrace the softness of the moment fully. This cabin was more than just shelter. It had become a symbol of hope and support during uncertain times. As night fell outside and stars appeared one by one above them, Sarah felt ready to take on whatever came next. Fortified by love and laughter from this cherished retreat with Emily by her side. With a gentle push, Sarah opened the door to the cabin, and before she could even take a full step inside, the lights flickered on in an exhilarating burst. The sudden glow illuminated the room, bathing the cozy space in soft, warm light that danced playfully across the walls. For a brief moment, Sarah stood frozen in the doorway, her heart racing with surprise and wonder. The sight before her felt straight out of a dream. Twinkling fairy lights lined the rafters, casting a magical shimmer throughout the room. Rustic wooden beams crisscrossed above, adding to the cabin's charm. As her eyes adjusted, she took in every detail. Colorful throw pillows scattered on the couches, the inviting crackle of a fire already started in the stone fireplace, and a table elegantly set with an assortment of snacks that seemed to beckon her closer. "Emily," she exclaimed, her voice filled with awe as she processed what was happening. It was as if the cabin itself had come alive to greet her. Initially taken aback by the surprise, relief washed over her like cool rain on a hot day. She might have expected quiet and solitude, but this vibrant display felt overwhelmingly welcoming. Stepping further into the cabin, she spotted Emily, who was hiding just out of sight behind a playful stack of cushions and decorations. "I couldn't keep it a secret any longer," Emily called out, her laughter ringing through the air like music. She stepped forward, arms outstretched for a hug, and Sarah quickly closed the gap between them, feeling all at once joy and gratitude engulfing her. "You did all this for me?" Sarah marveled as she pulled back to look around again. "It's incredible. I can't believe you went to so much trouble." Emily beamed with pride. "Only the best for my best friend. I wanted you to feel special and forget about everything for a while." Her enthusiasm was infectious, fueling Sarah's sense of wonder. Not only was it clear how much thought had gone into preparing this space, but there was also something personal about it. Each detail seemed to reflect their friendship. The cheerful decorations brought back memories of childhood sleepovers and deep conversations late into the night. The warmth of nostalgia wrapped around Sarah's heart, calming her lingering worries about becoming a mother. Setting down her bags and letting herself fully embrace this newfound sanctuary, Sarah took another deep breath. The scents of freshly baked cookies mingled with timber and pine were intoxicating, an inviting promise of comfort ahead. She couldn't help but picture herself settling onto one of those plush chairs by the fire with a cozy blanket wrapped around her, letting the cares of everyday life drift away into nothingness. "This is exactly what I needed," she said softly as she moved deeper into the cabin. The moment felt almost surreal. It was like stepping into a storybook where everything was just right, a place that offered hope and joy amid uncertainty. But just then, something caught her eye. A small basket perched on the table filled with notes and little surprises. Intrigued, Sarah strode over and began exploring its contents. Inside were heartfelt letters from Emily, filled with wisdom about motherhood, humorous anecdotes about their own childhood adventures together, and even small tokens like handmade crafts that brought back sweet memories. "Emily!" Sarah gasped with delight as she lifted one of the notes and read aloud a funny memory from school days that made them both giggle. "This is so special." Each note reminded her of why their friendship mattered so much. As they laughed together at shared memories captured in those letters, Sarah felt something shift within her. It was as though she was shedding layers of worry and doubt with each chuckle. Every smile exchanged gave birth to renewed excitement for what lay ahead, not only for herself, but for their future as mothers who would continue supporting one another. "Tonight, we celebrate," Emily declared exuberantly, clapping her hands together once all surprises had been revealed. "Let's make some hot cocoa and kick off your weekend in style." With that, they moved about the kitchen together, filled with joyful chatter as they prepared cocoa topped with whipped cream and drizzles of chocolate syrup, sweetening both their drinks and their camaraderie. Each stir stirred up not just cocoa, but shared dreams for motherhood. A pact forming over marshmallows and laughter promising they would face whatever came next together. As they shared cups of warmth nestled by the fire later that evening, Sarah felt transformed by Emily's efforts to create this joyful environment. The cozy cabin had evolved from mere shelter into a haven brimming with support. It was no longer just a respite from exhaustion, but rather a celebration of friendship at its finest. In this moment of magic accented by laughter and camaraderie, Sarah understood that surprising warmth found in companionship would serve as precious fuel on her journey ahead, enriching not only their lives, but providing strength to embrace motherhood with love during both easy days and rough patches alike. As Sarah took a moment to absorb the cozy ambiance of the cabin, her gaze fell on Emily, who was bustling about the kitchen with an infectious energy that lit up the room. Emily's face glowed with excitement, and her laughter filled the air like music, softening Sarah's heart further. This wasn't just any gathering. It was a celebration of their enduring friendship and the new chapter that awaited them both. Emily had always been there for Sarah, a steadfast friend since their high school days when they first bonded over shared dreams and late-night talks about everything under the stars. Emily was the kind of person who wore her heart on her sleeve. Her warmth and sincerity drew people to her effortlessly. Whether it was organizing surprise parties or simply being a shoulder to cry on, she exemplified what it meant to be a true friend. "Sarah," Emily exclaimed, breaking Sarah out of her reverie. "Come help me with this. I need your fabulous touch." She gestured toward a stack of colorful decorations waiting to be hung around the cabin. Sarah couldn't help but smile as she walked over to join her friend. "What do you have in mind?" she asked playfully, knowing Emily always had creative ideas bubbling in her mind. "Oh, I thought we could hang some streamers from these wooden beams, and maybe put up some photos of us from all those crazy adventures we've had," Emily replied with gleaming eyes. "It'll be like we're decorating our own little fairy tale." As they began hanging the decorations together, Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for having someone like Emily in her life. She had known since childhood that their bond was special, one built on shared laughter, tears, and countless memories that shaped them into who they were today. Emily understood Sarah's worries about becoming a mother. She knew how important it was for Sarah to feel supported during this transformative time. "I can't believe how close we are to meeting this little one," Emily said as she carefully draped streamers through the cabin's beams. Her voice brimmed with enthusiasm and sincerity. "You're going to be such an amazing mom." "I hope so," Sarah replied softly, trying to suppress some lingering doubts that crept into her mind. "I'm just nervous about everything, from labor to raising a baby." Emily stopped what she was doing and turned to face Sarah with earnest eyes. "Hey, it's okay to be nervous. You don't have to have all the answers right now," she reassured gently but firmly. "You've got me by your side every step of the way. And remember, you're not alone in this journey." That simple reminder lifted a weight off Sarah's shoulders. Knowing Emily would be there made everything feel more manageable. With each passing moment spent together in the cabin, they transformed potential worries into plans filled with laughter and lightheartedness. As they decorated side by side, they reminisced about their years growing up together. From playing dress-up in their backyards to late-night study sessions fueled by pizza and soda. Those moments seemed distant, yet so close at heart. They reminded Sarah that while motherhood might bring its own challenges, she would have someone who truly understood every challenge she faced. "Let's make this weekend all about us," Emily said, clapping her hands enthusiastically as she stepped back to admire their handiwork. Ribbons swaying gently in the draft, created by an open window. "We can have self-care time too. Face masks and hot chocolate while we talk about your baby names." A giggle escaped Sarah's lips at that thought, banishing any remaining tension from earlier. Despite feeling anxious about motherhood's responsibilities ahead, there was also boundless joy in sharing these moments with someone who believed in her wholeheartedly. "And I want to hear all your ideas for nursery themes," Emily added excitedly as they moved toward another corner where fresh-cut flowers adorned a vase, a lovely touch that enlivened the cabin further. "Let's do it," Sarah agreed wholeheartedly as she felt enthusiasm bubbling inside her again. It was as though magic filled the air around them each time their eyes met. Before long, they were laughing loudly while preparing sweet treats in the kitchen. Chocolate chip cookies adorned on platters alongside fluffy marshmallows ready for hot cocoa later on. Both enjoying playful debates about which toppings were essential for optimal s'mores pleasure. Through all of these activities, decorating spaces filled with cherished memories brought forth delicious snacks infused with love. Sarah felt energized anew by their connection and camaraderie, blossoming under twinkling fairy lights above them. In these moments, spent creating joyful traditions together, it became increasingly clear. Motherhood would come with challenges, yes. But having someone like Emily beside her meant navigating those waters wouldn't feel so daunting after all. What fortified their friendship only enriched every layer of support needed during uncertain times ahead, enveloping both friends in warmth that would last beyond just this weekend getaway together. In that cozy cabin, nestled among trees, alive with nature's sounds outside its walls, lay countless possibilities waiting eagerly within reach. Each moment strengthened bonds, built through love, that would pave paths into futures filled with laughter shared among mothers eager for adventures yet unknown. As the warm glow of the cabin continued to wrap around them, Sarah and Emily settled onto the plush couches, chocolate chip cookies, and steaming mugs of hot cocoa in hand. The air was filled with sweet aromas, intermingling with laughter that came easily between them. It felt as if a blanket of comfort had settled not just over the room, but over their hearts as well. "Okay, serious question," Emily said, taking a sip of her cocoa. What has been the most surprising thing about pregnancy for you so far? Sarah chuckled, shaking her head lightly as she adjusted her position. Honestly, I didn't expect my emotions to be like a roller coaster. One minute I'm happy, next I'm crying over an ad for puppies. She laughed heartily at the memory of how a simple commercial had left her in tears. I guess it's just all these hormones. Emily nodded sympathetically. Oh, I can only imagine. Your body's going through so many changes. It's like you're on this wild ride without a seatbelt. Her tone was playful, yet sincere. And Sarah felt a sense of relief, knowing that she could share these raw moments openly with her friend without fear of judgment. Right? And then there are all those things I read about online. Each article makes it sound like you need to prepare for an apocalypse or something, Sarah said with exasperation. I mean, am I really going to need 5 different kinds of swaddles? Emily laughed out loud at this idea. I wouldn't worry too much. Just focus on the essentials, like snacks. She teased back, earning another giggle from Sarah that made her heart flutter with joy. They spoke candidly about everything, from baby names to nursery colors. And with each exchange, Emily encouraged Sarah to voice even her smallest fears. At one point, they turned serious when Emily asked softly, "Have you thought about how you'll handle life after the baby arrives?" Sarah took a slow breath as she considered this question more deeply than expected. Honestly, that scares me sometimes, she admitted quietly. I'm worried about being overwhelmed or even having enough time for myself. A flicker of anxiety crossed her face before she quickly masked it with a forced smile. Without hesitation, Emily leaned in closer. Remember our motto from high school? She asked softly, yet confidently. We can handle anything together. She reached out and squeezed Sarah's hand reassuringly. That's true, Sarah said, feeling warmed not just by Emily's words, but by their long-standing bond that had seen them through countless challenges in life before now. Emily continued, her excitement bubbling back up again as they shifted topics toward baby preparations. Let's make sure you have time for yourself. We'll plan spa days or movie nights. Whatever helps keep your spirit up while navigating motherhood. That would be amazing, Sarah replied dreamily. The thought of pampering herself while managing motherhood had always felt like one big juggling act. Suddenly, it seemed more achievable with Emily's support offered brightly alongside it. And don't forget, once your little one arrives, Emily reminded playfully, while raising an eyebrow mischievously, you'll have my incredible babysitting skills. Seriously, though, she added thoughtfully, returning earlier sincerity to her eyes. You're going into this journey full of love. Just trust yourself. Feeling reassured and uplifted by their light-hearted banter mixed with deeper discussions about parenting, brought forth emotions Sarah hadn't realized were still hidden beneath layers of stress and doubt. Vulnerability met warmth seamlessly through mutual understanding cultivated over decades spent together. As they finished decorating for the rest of their weekend getaway among fairy lights wrapping around wooden beams above them, a tapestry woven tightly amongst laughter, the atmosphere shifted smoothly again towards joyful notions on what awaited both mothers-to-be. Moving forward beyond planned chaos at home. Adventures filled with first smiles, exchanged alongside shared hopes, sewn between steadfast friendship strings, tethered close throughout looming transitions ahead. I can't wait until we get to dress up our babies in adorable outfits, Emily exclaimed enthusiastically, causing both friends to erupt into another round of fitful giggles. I know, right? Baby fashion shows are definitely happening, Sarah added playfully as they both grinned broadly. Thoughts spun freely amongst talks surrounding nurseries down to future playdates, mapping out whimsical paths that twinkled vibrantly under warm lights overhead, where love flowed abundantly, like vibrant hues across beloved canvases, creating endless possibilities ahead, shimmering brightly nestled comfortably within. Embrace created through genuine connection, shared deeply between friends, embarking upon shared journeys into tomorrow filled lovingly together. Regardless what peaks lay beyond their sight today or any day thereafter. In each moment spent laughing genuinely amongst cozy surroundings, brimming warmth-infused friendship, intertwined sentiments, strengthened supporting bonds, it became clear that laughter exchanged here would nurture spirits brightly illuminating futures forged proudly under its luminous wake. Each adventure awaiting ahead shining brightly within reach, promising delightful tales, waiting eagerly throughout days, unfolding joyously bright like fairy tale encounters written long ago, where dreams thrived seamlessly evermore. Nurtured deeply within supportive arms gathered close together, a theme uniting endless threads enriched beyond measure. Waiting patiently even now, transforming hearts effortlessly into something greater altogether fulfilled whenever they journeyed towards new beginnings ahead, carrying warmth cherished forever. As the sun began to set beyond the trees, casting a warm golden hue through the windows of the cabin, Sarah took a deep breath and set down her mug of hot cocoa. She could feel her heart racing, not from excitement this time, but from the weight of her worries that felt like an anchor dragging her down. She glanced at Emily, who was rearranging some decorations, and felt compelled to voice her feelings. "Emily," she started tentatively, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if I'm not good at this? Being a mom, I mean." The words hung in the air between them, heavy with uncertainty. Emily paused mid-movement, turning her full attention toward Sarah. The joy in her eyes dimmed for a moment as she recognized the seriousness of Sarah's concern, a stark contrast to their earlier laughter. "Hey," she said gently, stepping closer. "Can we talk about it?" "Of course," Sarah replied, feeling a mix of relief and anxiety wash over her. She tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear, trying to mask the vulnerability she felt. "It's just that I've read so many parenting books and articles lately, and it's overwhelming. They make it sound so complicated. What if I miss something important?" Emily listened intently, nodding as Sarah spoke. "You know, every parent has those worries. It's natural." Her tone was soothing like a calming balm for Sarah's frayed nerves. "I mean, look at us. We were kids once. I remember our silly antics, like the time we snuck cookies before dinner." Sarah chuckled at the memory, but quickly grew serious again. "But this is different. I can't just sneak away from responsibilities like we did back then. This is a whole person depending on me." "I know," Emily replied gently. "But think about it this way. It's also about love, patience, and learning together. You don't need to have all the answers figured out right now. You'll grow into it. Your instincts will kick in." Feeling the weight lift just slightly, Sarah leaned back against the couch cushions. "I just don't want to let my baby down or make mistakes they'll remember in therapy," she joked weakly, hoping to lighten the mood while acknowledging her fears. "That's the spirit. You're already thinking about their therapy fees?" Emily teased, grinning wide. But then her expression softened again. "In all seriousness, though," she continued, "mistakes are part of being human. They help us learn. Just as long as you're there with love and support, I guarantee your child will thrive." As Emily spoke, Sarah felt herself relax more fully into the moment. There was something incredibly reassuring about being reminded that imperfection was part of life, not just motherhood. But what if... Sarah hesitated, her voice faltering as she pushed through another fear that bubbled up. What if I'm too tired or too overwhelmed to handle things when they really start? I know how tired I've been this past trimester. How could that possibly get better once the baby arrives? Emily shook her head gently but adamantly. You're right. It will probably be challenging at times, especially in those early days with sleepless nights. She paused thoughtfully before continuing. But you won't be alone in this. It's okay to lean on others for help. I'll be there every step of the way. And you have other friends and family who want to support you too. Reach out when you need a break. That helps, Sarah admitted softly, gratitude swelling within her chest. The reassurance from Emily soothed some of the waves of anxiety still lingering beneath the surface. Sarah smiled at her friend, feeling hopeful again as they both settled comfortably back onto the couch together. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about all my worries. It's nice just getting it off my chest. Anytime, Emily replied sincerely as she gave Sarah's hand a gentle squeeze. And remember, the fact that you worry shows you care deeply already. Trust your heart. It will guide you right. Just then, an idea struck Sarah like lightning. Hey, let's write down our dreams and hopes for our babies, she exclaimed excitedly, lifting her spirits further. It could be fun for them to read when they get older. Emily's eyes lit up with enthusiasm again at this new direction as they both grabbed notepads from their bags and giggled while discussing their imaginary adventures as mothers. Everything from play dates in the park to epic birthday celebrations planned under twinkling lights. In these moments of vulnerability, mixed seamlessly with encouragement exchanged between friends reflected by every laugh shared amongst them, the growing bond became even stronger than before. A foundation built upon open hearts, woven carefully together through layers of understanding, nurtured seamlessly, bringing warmth anew among memories shared along countless paths forward into uncharted territories, blossoming beautifully by entwined journeys, embracing each new beginning, beckoning just beyond today. Waiting patiently together within reach, carrying love, cherished forevermore. With the warmth of their heartfelt conversation still lingering in the air, Sarah and Emily decided it was time to dive into some fun activities that would lift their spirits even higher. The kitchen, filled with the smell of cookies from earlier, beckoned them to create more delicious memories. Let's make something comforting, Emily suggested as she rummaged through the cabinets for ingredients. How about homemade mac and cheese? It will definitely warm our hearts and fill our bellies. Sarah laughed, her enthusiasm returning. Yes, I can't think of anything better. Memories of shared meals rushed back to her, cooking together in dorm kitchens, late-night snacks during college, and now, this cherished moment ahead of them. Gathering ingredients from the fridge, they set to work chopping cheese, boiling pasta, and mixing everything together in a big pot. As they blended the creamy cheese sauce with the pasta, they joked about their cooking skills. I mean, I'm no gourmet chef, Sarah said as she stirred, but I can definitely make a mean bowl of mac and cheese. Emily responded with a playful eye roll. Don't sell yourself short. It's all about finding joy in the process and adding extra cheese. Once the dish was bubbling away on the stove, they moved on to decorating some baby items Emily had brought along. The morning sun cast a golden light into the cozy cabin, inspiring them as they spread out fabric paint and markers on a wide table ready for creativity. Okay, what should we decorate first? Emily asked, holding up a plain white onesie that looked ready for a splash of color. Sarah grinned widely at the opportunity to personalize something for her future little one. "Let's make this one bright yellow with sunshine," she exclaimed, grabbing a bottle of paint. As they painted handprints, animals, and happy quotes onto various onesies and bibs, the playful atmosphere became palpable. Laughter bubbled over as they made silly comments about how fashionable their designs would be. "I'm sure your baby will be the trendiest little one on the block," Emily teased as she painted a rainbow on a tiny shirt while Sarah added sparkly stars around it. "Just wait until I get started on the nursery theme. I'll go all out," Sarah replied playfully. They lost track of time as they explored their ideas with childlike delight. Each item transformed into a unique treasure, filled with their creativity and friendship. After an hour of artistic exploration, they stepped back to admire their handiwork. The table was adorned with brightly decorated baby clothes that seemed to come alive with personality. "They're perfect. I can't wait to see your little one wearing these," Emily said with genuine excitement shining in her eyes. "Me neither. And doing this with you makes it even more special," Sarah replied warmly. She felt gratitude swell in her heart, knowing that sweet moments like these would form cherished memories during this transformative phase of life. The next activity on their agenda was a little more spontaneous: an impromptu dance party. With the playlist filled with fun throwback songs playing softly in the background, Sarah and Emily couldn't resist but move their bodies and laugh at each other's silly dance moves. They twirled around, throwing their arms up in exaggerated motions as if no one was watching. "This is what we need. A little fun," Emily shouted over the music as she did an impromptu spin that ended in a dramatic pose. Sarah joined in with exaggerated jazz hands, causing them both to dissolve into laughter again. "All right, enough dancing," Emily finally declared after several minutes of joyous movement. "I'm exhausted." But her eyes sparkled with laughter. It was clear that this time spent together had recharged both their spirits immensely. They plopped down onto the couch once more, side by side amid the remnants of their creative chaos scattered around them. Paint-smeared aprons and colorful fabric fulfilling dreams woven together by layers of friendship. As evening fell outside and twinkling fairy lights took on a magical twinkle inside the cabin, they enjoyed generous helpings of macaroni and cheese while talking excitedly about their hopes for the future, including practical plans like organizing baby showers and learning parenting skills together. "I can't believe this weekend is flying by so quickly," Sarah said as she leaned back comfortably against her pillow-filled corner of the couch. "But every moment feels like such a gift." "I know," Emily agreed wholeheartedly, a warm smile spreading across her face. "No matter how tired we feel from prepping for babies or anything else, time spent creating memories will always fill our hearts." Their laughter echoed throughout the space, filled with sparkling lights gleaming down from wooden beams above them, capturing fleeting moments woven joyously together and reflecting deep bonds nestled warmly under vibrant escapes crafted together amidst serene woods outside, calling gently beyond windows, waiting patiently for new beginnings. Ahead echoed lovingly through every sigh, exchange between friends, eager for adventures yet unknown. With each shared comfort, food creation blended seamlessly alongside moments crafted with laughter. Their friendship blossomed beautifully, like bright flowers emerging from delicate earth, undeniably enriched by loving memories shared in this rustic cabin sanctuary. Their journey into motherhood just beginning, but undeniably already stronger for having shared these precious moments together before stepping bravely forward anew. As the evening settled in, enveloping the cabin in a cozy embrace, Sarah and Emily found themselves nestled on the couch, the remnants of their earlier fun surrounding them. The faint glow of the fairy lights created a gentle atmosphere, making it the perfect setting for deeper conversations that often unfolded between them. Sarah felt a gentle tug at her heart, a desire to connect more intimately with Emily, to share the worries that still lingered in her mind. "Can I tell you something?" Sarah began, her voice softening as she looked at Emily. "I've been thinking a lot about my mom lately." Emily turned toward her, nodding encouragingly. "Of course, I'd love to hear about her," she replied, her eyes filled with warmth. Taking a deep breath, Sarah continued. "She was so strong, you know. She raised me mostly on her own after my dad left. I always admired her ability to juggle everything, work, home, and me. But there were times when I saw the stress on her face. I think about how tough it must have been for her, especially being a single mom." A wave of emotion rushed through Sarah as she spoke, memories of her mother flooding back. "I remember one night when I was really sick with a fever. She stayed up all night by my side, reading me stories and soothing me. I didn't realize it then, but she must have been exhausted. Yet she never complained. All she cared about was taking care of me." A tear slipped down Sarah's cheek before she quickly brushed it away. "I just hope I can be half the mom she was. I want to be that kind of support for my child." Emily listened intently, her heart swelling with empathy for her friend. "Sarah, your mom sounds incredible," she said softly. "It's clear she was devoted to you, just like you'll be devoted to your little one. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be there with love and openness." The sincerity in Emily's voice reassured Sarah and made her feel a little lighter. "Thanks," she murmured, grateful for Emily's understanding nature. "I think about how my relationship with my mom changed when I became an adult. It shifted from her being the caretaker to us being friends, sharing advice and moments together as equals." "That's such a beautiful transition," Emily replied thoughtfully. "I hope that kind of relationship blooms between you and your baby as they grow too." She paused for a moment before sharing her own experience. "My mom was my rock too. She taught me so much about kindness and resilience." Sarah turned to Emily, intrigued. "What was she like?" "Gosh, where do I start?" Emily chuckled lightly. She had this infectious laughter that could light up any room. And she always made time for those little moments, like baking cookies and letting me make a mess in the kitchen with her. Emily's voice softened as she continued, reminiscing about her mother. "I remember one summer when we would sit outside watching the stars every night. She'd tell me stories about constellations and how they're connected to our family history, like a thread weaving through time." "That sounds magical," Sarah said, envisioning the warmth of those cherished moments. "It really was," Emily agreed, her expression becoming wistful. But she also faced challenges, caring for others while trying to keep herself together too. Seeing her navigate those tough times taught me that it's okay to ask for help when needed. "I feel like we're at the beginning of our own journeys now," Sarah contemplated aloud, feeling a sense of camaraderie with Emily deepening by the minute. It's comforting knowing that we've both seen our mothers go through their struggles, yet still come out stronger on the other side. "Exactly," Emily exclaimed with enthusiasm. "And we can carry that strength into our motherhood. Our experiences shape us into who we are as parents." Sarah smiled at this thought, feeling empowered by Emily's words and their shared connection over family histories. "I love how we can share these stories," Sarah said softly. "It makes me feel less alone in this journey." "And you're definitely not alone," Emily reassured her firmly, squeezing Sarah's hand gently. We're in this together. We'll help each other navigate parenthood and support each other through every challenge that comes our way. Just then, as if on cue, they both caught sight of their decorated baby items from earlier, each piece brimming with color and joy that reflected their friendship and hopes for the future. The sight brought a sense of pride to Sarah's heart. "Look at those adorable onesies," Emily said with a bright smile as she pointed toward their handiwork across the room. "They're like little tokens of love and laughter." "They really are," Sarah agreed, feeling renewed optimism surging within her heart. "Each one represents not just creativity, but also our friendship and everything we'll learn together." In that moment of vulnerability shared between them, of mothers' stories woven tightly amid laughter, the bond between them felt incredibly strong and supportive. As they settled back onto the couch under twinkling lights reflecting off wooden beams above, their hearts danced together, joyfully embracing both past experiences and future dreams ahead. All waiting patiently just beyond today, filled lovingly together for whatever new beginnings awaited them, down countless paths intertwined onward into tomorrow. As the evening wore on, Sarah and Emily sank deeper into their cozy retreat, surrounded by the soft glow of fairy lights and the warmth of shared laughter. The remnants of their day's activities scattered around them, a tapestry of colorful baby clothes they had decorated, half-finished mugs of cocoa, and the delicious aroma of the mac and cheese lingering in the air, lent an aura of happiness to the cabin that felt almost magical. Sarah leaned back against the cushioned couch, a content smile spreading across her face. She couldn't help but reflect on how much this weekend meant to her. The worries that had weighed heavily on her heart only days ago felt lighter now, gently lifted by Emily's unwavering support and affection. Each moment they shared over fun activities and deep conversations had nurtured her spirit, reigniting a sense of hope she had nearly lost amid the chaos of preparing for motherhood. "You know," Sarah began thoughtfully, turning to Emily as she snuggled deeper into her blanket. "I really needed this. I didn't realize how drained I was until we started having fun together." Emily stirred from her spot, her face brightening. "I'm so glad to hear that. I could tell you were carrying a lot on your shoulders." She paused, her expression turning sincere again. "Sometimes all we need is a break with someone who understands, right?" "Exactly," Sarah agreed, feeling an overwhelming wave of gratitude for her friend wash over her again. "Talking about my mom earlier made me realize how much I want to emulate her strength. But I also saw how much you care." A hint of vulnerability laced her words as she recalled their heartfelt moments together. "It's comforting to know that you're here to help me navigate through everything." "What kind of friend would I be if I weren't?" Emily replied with a warm smile. "Just imagine all the messy, beautiful moments we'll create as moms. We'll figure it out together." Sarah couldn't help but laugh at the thought. "Messy is definitely part of the plan," she said playfully, envisioning a future filled with unpredictable yet joyful parenting experiences. As they settled back into their comfortable banter, Sarah's mind drifted toward the baby items they had decorated earlier. Every onesie was more than just fabric. They represented their friendship and the love that would surround the child. "I can't wait to see my baby wearing those little outfits," she mused, a dreamy glint in her eye. "It makes everything feel more real." "They'll be the trendiest little one on the block," Emily chimed in joyfully, bringing another giggle from Sarah. Their laughter echoed through the cabin, merging with the sounds of nature outside, the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant call of crickets serenading them in this serene moment. Suddenly, an unexpected hush fell over them as they took a moment to absorb everything around them. The flickering fairy lights casting soft shadows against the walls, the warmth radiating from the freshly baked snacks they had prepared together, and the comfort within their friendship that fortified them both. "I think we've created something special this weekend," Sarah said softly, not wanting to break the spell of tranquility. "These moments are what I'll hold on to when things get tough." "Me too. It's like filling our heart's reservoir for when we need it most," Emily replied thoughtfully. Her eyes sparkled with understanding as they both recognized how significant this experience had become. Not just as a weekend getaway, but as a step forward into motherhood, filled with support from one another. With newfound confidence building within her, Sarah felt a surge of excitement for what lay ahead. The worries that had once clouded her thoughts were replaced by optimism, hope for embracing change surrounded by love and friendship. These reflections made her heart swell with gratitude, reminding her that every challenge would come with laughter and companionship along for the ride. "I really feel like I can take on anything now," she said with conviction. "With you by my side, I know it's going to be okay." "Absolutely. We're on this adventure together," Emily affirmed emphatically as she nudged Sarah playfully. As they both gazed out at the evening sky through the cabin windows, where stars began to twinkle brightly above them, Sarah felt a sense of peace settle deep within her. It was clear to her now that these shared moments of vulnerability, joy, and hope had created a strong foundation for navigating motherhood ahead. "Here's to us and our futures as moms. I can't wait for all that's yet to come," Sarah declared, raising her mug triumphantly in a toast-like gesture. "To us," Emily echoed cheerfully, clinking her mug against Sarah's. In that simple act of celebration amid laughter and camaraderie, Sarah felt refreshed, embracing dreams intertwining with reality, no longer burdened by doubt, but buoyed up by authentic connection forged through love, trust, and endless possibilities waiting just beyond tomorrow.